Decision Plus has been and still is a leading stock market service provider. From training to coaching, we cover it all. Try both our software as well as our coaching site, completely free for 10 days without obligation. No credit card is needed to sign up for the trial. The trial subscription will be automatically canceled for you at the end. DecisionPlus.com, your stock market service center. Real-time coaching has been created. We search and classify critical reports and technical movements. You can visualize or hear the best buying and selling opportunities. Get real-time advice all day long and 3 live coaching shows per day. Let us do the work and save your time for trading. Try MarketGurus.tv free without obligation for 10 days in the menus above. Market Vision Plus is the trading companion of so many investors. Make your fundamental and technical analysis easy with Canada's #1 stock market decision-making software. Research, decide, and follow your positions with Market Vision Plus. See the menus just above this program and try Market Vision Plus for 10 days without any obligation after the show. When it comes to day trading, Trader Plus is the right tool. Track 50 quotes simultaneously. Create dozens of quick lists. Display as many as 30 real-time intraday charts at the same time. Watch the action with candlesticks or bar charts as fast as 10 seconds. See the market by sectors. Use the chart models already prepared for you. Try Trader Plus for 10 days in the menu above without any obligation.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Swing Trading Show. Today we're Wednesday, July 8, 2015. The question bar is open, folks. If ever you have any questions, feel free to ask them. Today it's a bloodbath on the market. Well, bloodbath, not a big bloodbath. Well, we could see some kind of a medium bloodbath, I would say. All this is due to what's happening in China, because in China, almost half of Chinese stocks have been halted. And this is due to the fact that, first of all, investors are reluctant to believe in the measures that have been adopted by the government. If we take a look at the Chinese index here, it's the one that's taking the biggest hit today. Look, since the beginning of the year, we lost all the gains of 2015 in a couple of months on the Hang Seng Index. So that shows you that really investors are fearful. They think that with all the recent wave of IPOs that have propelled the Hang Seng to new heights, that with the fact that the government is putting a halt to the new IPOs, with the fact that the measures are not convincing enough, well, people are actually cashing in and they're selling their share, and this is bringing a big wave of selling pressure on the index, and this is why we have lost almost half of today's gains. And the fact that they halted half of the stocks that are listed in the Chinese index doesn't mean that for the next few days to come that we might not have a pursuit of this bearish momentum. So it's really China today that is fueling this bearish momentum that we have again on the Nasdaq, on the Dow Jones, and as well as the TSX. So in terms of the sectors though, most sectors are pursuing their decline. There are not a lot of new breakdowns. If we take a look at the market situation here, now what are the targets of this decline? First of all, on the Nasdaq, the targets now become towards 4,845. On MarketGurus.tv, we felt more comfortable to recommend a short position on the Nasdaq yesterday in our analyst choice. This ETF was SQQQ that we recommended yesterday on MarketGurus.tv. Today, we still hold on to that ETF. It's only surging by 4.40%. We want to see a clearer increase, though, at least around 26.50. We might consider to take some profit. We believe that the downward momentum on the Nasdaq could continue towards 4,850. On the Dow Jones, right now we're at a critical point. We're testing a support that has been tested multiple times, and we could break it down. So what's happening there, with the, can we put the questions for me, please? The new questions that are coming. With this, what's happening now in Greece, so far we know that on Thursday the government will have to submit a new reform plan. If this reform plan is accepted on Sunday by the other finance ministers of the Eurozone, well, then we might have Greek that stays on the Eurozone. But right now, all indices are also taking a hit. And on the Dow Jones, if it does go below 17,500, the new target now becomes 17,144. The TSX is in a situation where on MarketGurus.tv, we might make the call to recommend HXD. We believe that HXD represents an opportunity today for buy, because if ever the TSX pursues its decline, we're going to have the TSX that could reach 14,000. It is true that we're reaching the low of a downward corridor, so we might have a rebound on the TSX, a short-term rebound. However, we still believe that the downward momentum could continue, because what sectors could help the TSX? The gold sector made an attempt today to start bullish momentum. It failed. The energy sector decline, it continues. The talks with Iran continues. If ever they prove to be successful, well then, Iran will have access to the oil market, more supply. We know the OPEC has not decided to cut its oil production. So really, we still have an oversupply of oil, and the price of oil so far, what we see our analysis is that it will continue on the downside. So it's still bearish in the energy sector. Our financial sector, what's happening there? Well, with the uncertainty with Greece, with what's happening in China, of course, people are kind of reluctant to actually continue to invest in the financial sector. We're going to have the announcement of the Bank of Canada, I think tomorrow, if I remember right.
No, next week.
Next week. Will they raise interest rate? If they do raise interest rate, well, that might be positive for some banks. No, not really for some banks, for some insurers, sorry. But for some banks, it will be negative because, first of all, they will have a less ability to acquire more consumers because they'll have higher rate to charge to consumers. So it's really a situation where the bearish wave is more important. And this is why today, those of you who want to open some bearish ETF are actually well positioned to do so just before the index loses too much points, and your loss potential on the bearish ETF you open today will be too important. So folks, here, this is the list of the most active bearish ETF on the TSX, on the New York, as well as the NASDAQ. We published that list yesterday on MarketGurus.tv. So this was the timing to get into them. Those of you who didn't have access to MarketGurus.tv, well, you can make the free trial, as I said earlier, or you can actually look at among this list here to determine the ones that you like. On MarketGurus.tv, those are the ETF that we still have in our portfolio. We have SPXU, we have SQQQ, we have TZA that we have just recommended today because TZA is actually really interesting, clearly confirming a breakout. We recommended that ETF around 10 o'clock on MarketGurus.tv, and we might consider HXD. So it is we're debating that for the moment, but HXD might be added to the list. So among those ETF, those are the most active so far. Now, in terms of the news, though, not really important news that we have, except for Silver Wetton. I wanted to bring that to your attention because the stock took a big hit because the Federal Agency Revenue of Canada, they're trying to get $200 million in taxes and penalties and fines, from Silver Wetton. And those this inquiry that they made against Silver Wetton kind of question their business model. Because what we know is that Silver Wetton is a company that gives financing to juniors or to other mining companies. And the fact that they could face a charge of $200 million, it's actually something that worries investors. This is why we have this decline. Also, the finance minister, Joe Oliver, said that we cannot say that Canada is in recession, even if we had a negative GDP reading for the last reading, but we need to see more data before taking some action. So this is actually the comments by the finance minister. Another one is that Bonterra Energy, they completed a private placement, but nothing of $31 million. So that's the only thing that we have. Now, Mandy has a question here. As I said, if ever you have any more questions, folks, feel free to ask them. It's my pleasure to answer this question. Now, let's answer Mandy's question. It's really an interesting one that we have here. So how do you know where old resistance is? If old resistance is a new support, where is the support on WCP? Please analyze. Well, it's a great question, Mendy. First of all, how do you determine a resistance? Well, try to see when did the stock tested a point and went back down. You see here in December, this was a resistance, right? Because we tested that level here and every time we went slightly down, except for this one here, that is a clear breakout because we broke an important resistance that was tested several times. Now, this former resistance that is there on December could become a new support. How do I determine if it's a support? Well, first we had a support here on February. Why a support? Because it was tested many times and we rebounded out of it. So that was a support. And now you see that this support here has been broken down on WCP. So what are the next target on WCP? Where is the next support? Technically speaking, it could be the former resistance of December. So around $12 could be the next support on WCP. Another way to look at this is to say, okay, let's connect all the bottoms of this downward trend and see where could it stop. You see, we actually arriving exactly at 12, which corresponds also to this former resistance. So that's also something that could give you some clues on where is the next support. Another indicator you could use is the Fibonacci retracement. Put it from that top to that bottom, and you see that the 38.2% level corresponds to $12. So it's really likely, based on the indicators, based on the trends on this former resistance that could become a new support, that $12, it's a point where Whitecap Resources might have a pause. Will that be a point where automatically you should buy the stock? No. The condition where you should buy a stock when it reaches a former resistance that could become a new support is to take a look at the stochastics. Stochastics, first of all, you need to see if the stock reaches $12, can the stochastics reaches 30-40% range? And also another indicator you could use is the histogram. Mark the histogram 728.7. Try to see if we can have a histogram that is being more towards positive territory. If we do have that, then at $12, it's really likely that that might be a great point to acquire a stock like Whitecap Resources at a bottom. So far on that stock, the downward trend continues. It's not a buy, but that $12 on a stochastic that's rising, on a MACD that's being in a positive territory, that is a point where Whitecap Resources might be a buying opportunity.
Find answers to your questions by emailing your host at btm@decisionplus.com.
5 good reasons to manage your investments with National Bank Direct Brokerage. Commission fees fixed at $9.95 anytime for all clients and starting at only $6.95 for active investors. No administrative fees if you hold at least $20,000 in your accounts. Registered accounts available in U.S. currency. Powerful tools to help you manage your portfolio. Award-winning customer service and satisfaction levels amongst the highest in the industry. To learn more, visit nbdb.ca or call us now.
Real-time coaching has been created. We search and classify critical reports and technical movements. You can visualize or hear the best buying and selling opportunities. Get real-time advice all day long and 3 live coaching shows per day. Let us do the work and save your time for trading. Try marketgurus.tv free without obligation for 10 days in the menus above.
So welcome back, folks. So we have some questions here from Jay. Will the situation in Greece could have an impact on the TSX? For me, it's tough to tell. I think the situation that could have, the impact that it could have on the TSX is more of a panic mode that could happen if Greece leaves the Eurozone. What I know is that those are 2 companies I know that are related to Greece that have some exposure to Greece. First of all, there's a Fairfax Financial Holdings. That stock has bought some Greek debt, and if ever Fairfax goes below 600 points, that will be a stock that will be in a clear breakdown. First, it needs to stabilize first there at this point. So I know this company has some exposure in Greece. I know also Eldorado Gold. We know they had a project in Greece that has been denied by the Greek government for environmental, because they didn't respect some environmental requirements for Eldorado Gold. So those are the two companies I know of that are exposed to Greece. So of course, those two companies might be impacted if ever it happens. Another company I know, I think it's IFP. The thing is, I think it's IFP if I remember right, or I don't know what there are other companies that are related to the pulp and paper. But if I remember, I think it might be IFP. I'm not so sure if it's this company here. What I know is that if ever Greece leaves the Eurozone and adopt the drachma, I know that this company has a plant that's in Switzerland that's next to Greece, and they might benefit from that if Greece adopts the drachma, their former currency. So this is what I know of. But overall on the TSX, could this have an impact? Of course it could, but it's tough to tell which sector is going to be impacted more and more. I know some companies that are exposed to Greece. I know, for instance, Eldorado Gold, Fairfax Financial Holdings. But so far I cannot give you a clear indication about what sectors are going to be impacted, because it will mostly be driven by fear. And when there's fear, investors sometimes sell anything, and sometimes it doesn't really make sense, right? Now, Yves, when U.S. markets are closed for holiday, is the future markets always open? Are commodities still tradable? Yes, the futures market, I'm talking mostly of the Chicago Board of Exchange, they're always open. For instance, on July 4th, the America's Independence Day, they were open. There might be less people, less volume, but of course, commodities are always traded. Actually, before the markets open, we always take a look at the futures to give us a clue about how markets are going to open. So really, yes. So futures are actually always open. On MarketGurus.tv, we don't cover futures. We mostly cover stocks, but we do actually take a look at futures to allow us to give you some strategies you could adopt at the 9:45 show to tell you which sector where we could have a wave of selling pressure or not. So this is actually how we use futures to give us a clue about what strategy to adopt. Now, WGA, why this drop? Bad news? Well, I don't know for WGA. I've not heard of that news, but it's a big drop, definitely. I have no news on this company here. What you could do, you could take a look at, go to Google Finance, try to find the news, or go to the website, but we have not found any news so far on what?
I think it's the load factor.
Oh yeah, sorry. We found the news. It's about the load factor. So the load factor is actually has declined, and this is why the stock is going down today. The load factor is something that's important because it shows the capacity of their planes, and if they have less load factor, it's actually not positive in terms of profit. They're losing money on their flights. So this is something that might explain this panic on WestJet Airlines. But right now, it's clearly a selling signal for WestJet Airlines because we have already reversed an important upward trend since 2012. We did stabilize for a while, but right now we're clearly confirming a new short opportunity on that stock. So far, yes, everything is negative, and that will be a clear, nice short opportunity. Now, if do those people ever sleep? You're talking about the people who trade futures. Usually it's not people, it's computers who trade futures. I don't know if you heard about high frequency trading. So this is actually something that's really used in the futures market. So it's mostly computers. So of course, money never sleeps, as the Wall Street movie says. And the future is definitely something that's related to that. Now, those are the best short opportunities that we have, folks, mostly on the American markets. But as I said, if you're not comfortable to short, you could actually open some positions among the bearish ETF. MarketGurus.tv, TZA has been our new pick. HXD might be one that we might add today. We'll make the call on MarketGurus.tv. And as for the day trade of the day, it's a ETF on the oil sector, on the oil sector. It's that ETF here, HOD. One entry point here, another one there. The next entry point is going to be at 1088. Now for HOD, what are the targets on HOD? We could use the Fibonacci retracement from that top to that bottom, and we can see that the next target could become around 1128 on HOD. That's if ever oil pursues its decline, and this is going to be related to, first of all, what's going to happen to the US dollar today. Even if the US dollar is having a slight correction, it could rally for the next few days, especially with what's happening in Greece. So I'm going to take Jay's question tomorrow about CIA.to. So far, folks, I think that today, with the market's decline, with the fear that's happening in China, bearish ETF represents a great alternative instead of shorting stocks because there are not a lot of short opportunities Most indices, most stocks are just pursuing their bearish cycle, and bearish ETF represents a great alternative to actually trade this bearish cycle that we believe could continue in the next few days. On the TSX, our target becomes 14,000. We also publish a Facebook Chronicle on the SPY, giving you our target on the SPY if ever we have a clearer confirmation of the bearish cycle on that index. So see you all tomorrow on the Swing Trading Show on DecisionPlus.com.